Okay, we're back in the tool set and we've loaded up our module with the trigger again. Just one thing I wanted to point out that I missed during the installation. Well, not really missed, but something I should have talked about. The documentation does tell you to do this. Once you modify the configuration using the two configurators for the master and the info plugin, you do want to compile all your scripts. So you definitely want to do a compile all scripts either within the toolset or using whatever compiler you're happy with. But you do want to compile them after you're done. The configurators actually modify scripts, so you want to compile them after you're done. I was thinking about putting the feature in to automatically compile them, but not everybody's using the same compiler, and I didn't really want to get into supporting all these different compilers. So it's easy enough to compile your own scripts, so just do that after you've done those changes. Once you've made those changes in the configurator, you don't have to compile anymore until you make more configuration changes. So let's move right along. I'm going to modify this trigger and make it behave a little differently. So we'll select it and fire up the plugin. So here's our plugin that we're editing, or sorry, our trigger that we're editing. As you can see here, there's a time start and time end to be active. So if I want this trigger to be active, between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., all I have to do is select 8 and 2, and the trigger will only be active between these hours. So I'm going to leave those blank for this, but that's pretty straightforward. Shout message, that's if you want the information to be shouted across the server. No chat channel, that's if you don't want the information shown in the local chat dialog. We're going to turn that on. Trigger once per reset, that's only the first person who comes along and walks on this trigger will get the information, and no one else will until the server's reset. Same thing, only each player can walk over the trigger and get it, but only once until the server's reset. Party information, if everybody in the party should get it, should one person walk over the trigger. No repeat ever, that means the first person on the server that walks across the trigger will get the information and no one else will ever. And this is basically the same thing, only each player on the server is allowed to walk over the trigger once. And that's it after they're done that. So we'll make those two changes and see how that behaves in the game. And we'll quit and save our module and load it up in game. We'll see you there in a moment. Okay, so we're back in game and we're going to run over this trigger and see what's different. You've discovered a lovely mushroom patch. Oh, but we did not get any information in the chat dialog. That was that one checkbox about no local chat. And we're going to leave the trigger and walk in it again. And we don't get to see it anymore. So of course, if the server should reset, we will see it again. If this was a single player module, because this part of the info plugin doesn't actually require a database, but until the module is reset, I won't see that information again. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, so we're back in the tool set and we're going to demonstrate the next piece, and that is being able to get information from clicking on a placeable object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over here and grab another one of these mushrooms. Placeables, I'm just doing this on the other monitor here. No need to drag this across. Just going into the regular blueprints where I grab these first set of mushrooms and looking, there they are, for another one. So I'm going to lay this mushroom right here. So again, it's nothing special. It's the same as the rest of the mushrooms. But what I want is I want to be able to have a player come along, click on this, and get some kind of interesting message when they click on it. Straightforward and simple. So we'll click on the mushroom. We'll select plugins and fire up the info plugin again. This time we're going to select placeable instance. So we'll click placeable instance. And we'll see that this is indeed the mushroom. And that's our descriptive name, but I'm going to change that. I'm just going to change this to say odd mushroom. And again, like everything, it needs a unique identifier, so I'm just going to use my area tag, info area, and I'm going to call it placeable 1. And the message, this appears to be an odd mushroom. Don't know why, but there it is. Again, like the other trigger, we can do a start time and an end time so that this information only appears when the player is within this time. And again, these checkboxes work the exact same way as the other ones. So I'm going to leave those blank. The progress bar trigger, I'm going to get into that in the next little bit. Just for now, I want to demonstrate how clicking on a placeable is able to show some information. The neat thing is that I don't have to make any more changes to this. Even if this was a static placeable that I had laid, the plugin will actually change all of its settings so that it's usable with no inventory and plot and all that good stuff. So I don't have to do anything. I don't have to put any scripts or anything on it. It just does it for me. And right from here, I can go ahead and load it up in game and show you what it's like. So I'm going to save it and load it and go from there. So here we are back in the tool set and our same module. As you can see, there's our lovely mushroom patch message, but what's this? This is different. We've got a clickable odd mushroom here, so let's go see what this thing has to say. This appears to be an odd mushroom, and it is also showing up in the local dialog. Because we haven't checked any of those checkboxes, I can click on it several times, as often as I like, and see the same information over and over and over again. And that's pretty straightforward. Just place a placeable and use the plugin against it to configure it. So we're going to exit now and move on to something a little different on how we can have other information displayed on other types of events and go from there. So we'll see you back in the toolset.